Like and subscribe to Pals Fundamentals on YouTube for more videos like this. We've got a lot to cover today, from international news to local updates, plus a look at the weather. We'll start with Greenland.
Greenland had an election coming up March 11th. And, independence is a really big topic there.
Right, right. And I know there are some Greenlanders who are living in Denmark who would like to return, but they've got some concerns, things like.
Yeah, of course. Things like housing, right? Making sure there's enough available, and the education system, and healthcare.
Makes sense. Those are all important factors. I think we were reading about Malou Rosing and Henrik Johnson,
Yeah, them.
who
Exactly.
had those concerns. And then, of course, there's the issue of climate change. How's that impacting Greenland?
Well, it's a big concern, especially for those smaller, more remote communities like Connacht. It really impacts their way of life.
Yeah, I can imagine. Their traditional way of life now, I know the Paris Agreement is trying to address climate change globally, so.
Yeah, it aims to limit global warming, but Greenland really needs its own climate action plan, a comprehensive one, to tackle these challenges head on.
Right, and I understand that there's some funding being allocated.
Yes, for pilot projects to help with adapting to the changes. But, more is always needed.
Of course, of course. Now, what about this talk of climate reparations for indigenous communities in the Arctic?
Right, there's a lot of discussion around that. And there's a concern that Greenland might be excluded because of its status, within the UN and with Denmark.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to something a little different. Greenland's cryolite mining. Didn't Denmark have a big hand in that?
Yeah, they did. Cryolite's a valuable mineral. And some economists, well, they estimate the total value of what was extracted to be almost 400 billion. In today's money, of course.
Wow, 400 billion. That's
A lot of money.
a lot of money. And did Greenland see any of that?
Not much. Which raises some ethical questions, doesn't it? About what happened during that colonial period.
Definitely. A lot to think about there. And then we have President Trump, who recently
Oh, yeah, he made a statement, again, saying the U.S. should buy Greenland.
he wants to buy Greenland. And his reasoning this time is,
National security, international security. He says Greenland's strategic importance has grown, especially with all the advancements in, weapons and aircraft technology.
I see. So how's Denmark responding to all this?
Well, they're beefing up their defense budget, increasing it to 3% of their GDP over the next 2 years.
That's a significant increase.
Yeah, it is. It comes out to about 50 billion kroner. Plus, they're giving more authority to their defense leadership to buy equipment.
Okay, so what's the overall goal here from Denmark's perspective?
The Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, she said it's to prevent war.
All right, makes sense. Let's shift gears now and focus on some local news, starting with the Faroe Islands.
Okay, so the Faroes Parliament, they need to re-elect their committees.
Oh, why is that?
Some changes in party representation, you see. And they have to follow constitutional procedures. They're also going to be looking at a proposal to ban mobile phones in schools.
Oh, interesting. What about the Shetland Islands? What's going on there?
Well, there are some delays with the Scalloway Harbour redevelopment project.
I see. Any particular reason for the delays?
Well, the council's facing some financial difficulties with running the harbor. Part of it's because a salmon factory closed, and there's been a drop in whitefish landings.
Right. But I understand there's some positive news as well regarding the inter-island connectivity program.
Yeah, there's definitely progress on that front. They're considering tunnel projects, potentially connecting Unst, Yell, Walsay, Bressay, and Fetlar.
Wow, that's a big undertaking.
It is, but they're holding public meetings to get feedback from residents.
Smart move.
Yeah, they want to make sure they have a strong business case before presenting it to the councilors this summer.
Sounds like a good plan. All right, let's wrap up this part of our news report with a look at the weather in the Faroe Islands. What's the latest?
Right now, well, we've got a fresh wind blowing from the southeast, about 8 to 13 meters per second, with gusts up to 15.
Okay. And what about conditions on the ground?
It's overcast, with some scattered showers or rain. Might even see some hail, temperatures hovering between 5 and 8 degrees Celsius.
All right. What can we expect in terms of changes to the wind and weather?
Later today, well, the wind's going to shift coming from the south instead, and it should ease up a bit down to 5 to 10 meters per second. Might even see some sunshine, but this evening the wind will pick up again from the southwest this time, back up to 8 to 13 meters per second with occasional gusts of 15. And overnight, it'll shift to the south, bringing a mix of clouds and scattered showers.
Okay, so no major storms or anything like that.
Well, actually, early tomorrow morning, we are expecting the wind to increase from the southeast, reaching gale force. So we're looking at speeds between 13 and 18 meters per second.
Good to know. Thanks for that detailed weather report. Thanks for joining us for this news report. You can find all the sources linked below.